Larry, how you doing,
Hey, Brian.
buddy?
Good to be on, buddy. How you doing?
Oh, so good to see you. How you been doing okay?
Doing okay. Had a number of operations on my foot, but I'm almost back to walking again.
We're gonna talk about that. So hang on, Larry. You have a rich history and is a legendary. You're a legend announcer, and I just wanted to know how you got the nickname Supermouth. How did that happen?
The LA Times did a story on me back in the '70s, and the headline was "It's a bird, it's a plane, it's Supermouth," and I think it was based, besides my announcing, on the fact that I can do 300 words a minute on radio commercials. That's when Marshall Klein of the Times wrote a story, and that helped a lot.
Wow. So I heard some of those commercials you did, like for the Grant Boys and stuff like that in Costa Mesa
Yeah.
when you were,
Yeah.
and you were the voice of Grant Boys too.
I think I've done about 7,000 commercials in my career.
I saw you when I made some movies when I was a little younger, and I was in the studio. I think it was in like Anaheim or Fullerton. It was like off the 91 freeway. I think it was off of like Orangethorpe or Gliselle. I think there's a studio there, and I was working with my friend's movie, and I turned to the next booth and I saw you, Larry Huffman, doing a commercial over there off of and I said, "Oh, there's Larry Huffman." Do you remember that studio, or do you not? Off of the 91 and
Vaguely,
Gliselle, I think.
I've been at a bunch of
Yeah,
studios. I vaguely remember that one, but yeah.
you've done so many. I
Yep.
never remember that until now. You've done 7,000 commercials.
I figure it's about 7,000 commercials over the last 30 years, 40 years.
Oh, well, you must be tired
Fortunately,
by now.
the mouth
Huh?
is still working. The voice is still there, so nothing else works, but the voice is working.
The voice is the last thing to go, Larry.
Yeah, probably right, Brian.
Keep it up. Hang in there. You're doing great. And I was just gonna ask you this question, like, how in the world did you get into announcing? I mean, how old were you? And where did you get your first gig as an announcer? How did all that happen?
Well, I was back about 1967, I think, that I announced some races at El Toro Speedway. And after the first night, I went up to the promoter and I said, "I'd like to get paid." And he said, "Don't worry, your money's in the bank and it's still there because I never got paid." That was my first job, El Toro Speedway. I got hired at Costa Mesa in 1969. 25
That's
bucks a night.
You got $100 at Costa Mesa a night? 100 or 25?
20, 25 bucks to start with.
Oh, those cheap Oxleys.
Well, no, Oxy was very good. He paid. It went up as the crowds went up, and by the mid '70s, I'm told Costa Mesa Speedway was the largest weekly motorsports event in North America, which is unbelievable. When you were
So
race
what year
racing,
did, yeah,
in
what'd you say?
'74 we had in 1974 we had 4 sellouts at Costa Mesa. I was told the seating capacity was 8,800, and we had standing room only 4 times. A lot of it had to do with Bruce Kenhall because he was coming on and everybody loved him.
It was amazing. That was just amazing. The crowds that came out, Costa Mesa, and you did a really good job, Larry. You did a good job.
Well, my wife just handed me a note. She says, "Talk about you being a disc jockey." I was a disc jockey on the radio before I got into announcing events, and that helped me with Harry Oxley because he knew I'd get an exposure on the radio. But I was not a great disc jockey, and my voice was so high that my only listeners were golden retrievers. So that was kind of tough. But eventually, they could hear me on the PA system at the Coliseum, Rose Bowl, Madison Square Garden, all that. They could hear me through all the noise, and that's where my voice really helps.
Well, your voice is golden. I mean, in the Speedway world, it was like Larry Huffman and Bruce Flanders, and those are the two all-time legends of announcing Speedway and other sports too, but especially in the Speedway world. You guys were like the bomb. You guys were the best.
Bruce was indeed a legend. It's a tragedy that he died last, but he was a hell of an announcer.
Yeah, it's sad he passed away, and we all miss, Bruce Flanders so much because he just had that baritone voice and he had that banter to him. He was amazing. It was amazing. We miss Bruce. So, how old were you? So you were just like in your 20s, right, or 30s when you started announcing like that?
I was in my 20s. Yeah.
I remember you used to have these really cool sports cars when you used to like lease these really nice sports cars. I remember hearing about that. And you would expire your lease and get a new sports car. Is that right?
Well, I'd buy them. I'd actually buy them. I had a Pantera. I had a bunch of Porsches and Corvettes because I like fast cars because it's fun. Cheaper than drugs.
Buying is better than leasing, that's for sure.
Well, it was for me. Although I still lost money when I sold them, but it was fun. Ask me about Robert Redford Speedway.
What happened?
I think it was 1970, and we were doing the U.S. versus the world, the Americans against Ivan Major, Barry Briggs, Bert Hawkins, and we had a 3-day race, Friday night, Saturday night, and then Sunday afternoon. And it was totally sold out the whole weekend. And the first night, Robert Redford, Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid had just come out. He was hot. And he and his buddy were staying in Newport Beach, and they heard about Costa Mesa. They may have seen you then. And they came to the race on Friday night. We were sold out. So Redford went up to Marilyn Oxley, Harry Oxley's wife, and he said, "We have no place to sit." And she didn't recognize him. And she said, "All right, I'm going to let you sit in the press section, but you have to keep your mouth shut. I don't want any problems." He said, "Okay, no problem." And he and his buddy sat in the press section next to me. He was 6 feet away from me, and I didn't recognize him. So after the race, Oxley comes up to me and he says, "Hey, we have Robert Redford in the booth next to you." I said, "Why didn't you tell me?" He said, "I didn't want a lot of people bugging him." So I got on the mic Saturday night the next day and I explained we have Robert Redford here, and people were booing me. "Go home, Huffman." I couldn't tell you. I didn't know. He was there the next night and came back Sunday. He was there. He and his buddy were there all 3 days watching Sundays.
Wow. I think everybody wanted Robert Redford and not you, I think.
Absolutely. One other superstar that I heard recently was there every week with his grandson was John Wayne. I heard he was in the main grandstand up in the corner every Friday night for years, and I never saw him, never knew he was there, but I was told that recently.
I never heard that before.
Yep. That's what I heard.
The Duke, John Wayne of Balboa Island. Rest in peace, John Wayne. We love that guy. So you were the voice of the Supercross for 16 years. And did you travel all around? Like they'd race in like San Diego and Atlanta and Salt Lake and all these places. Did you go travel with all those guys? And how was that for 16 years?
It was a lot of fun. It was good money. We went to Pontiac, LA Coliseum, Seattle Kingdom, Texas Stadium, Houston Astrodome, et cetera. And it was a lot of fun. I got to know the riders real well. I think they liked me and they trusted me. So it was a good situation.
Nice. I went to a few of those races at the Anaheim Supercross, and I remember we're going to talk about that in just a minute, but not right now. But we're going to get to that, and we're going to talk about a couple of things that I heard you say. But right now, we're going to continue on.